The Asset Alliance Group Scottish Rally Championship headed north for round 6 of the 2024 season, the AM Phillip Trucktech Snowman Rally, rescheduled away from its traditional March date. Although Ewan Thorburn had already wrapped up the driver's title in the previous round, there were still 12 category titles to be decided, headlined by the battle for the Navigators Championship. Kerr Beaton topped the point standings going into his home event, jumping into a Fiesta alongside a returning Freddie Milne. He would face stiff opposition from his brother Paul, alongside Bruce McCombie in another Fiesta.
It comes down to this event because I'm away for the last one, so I've managed to get Freddie in the hot seat. Paul's gone and sat with Bruce. Dirty but you know, I'm not too bothered about it much.
My wife has called me a competitive a few times when I've been playing board games with the kids, but yeah, it's kind of it's in our nature. So what do you do?
How did you feel when you won your first championship?
That was good, aye.
Well, pass that on.
I was there. It was good, aye.
It was good, aye. It felt good. It was a long time coming. I think you've got a bit longer to do your apprenticeship before you get it, though. When your hair's this colour, then I'll give you it.
I can't believe you.
Also in the mix was Michael Hendry, continuing his long-term partnership with Proton pilot Mark McCulloch.
Pretty much outside chance anyway that we've got, but we'll just do our own thing and see where we end up. It's out of our hand really, it's how the other guys fare as well, so we'll just see how it goes.
Michael's like me, we don't like to shout about it too much, we like to do our own thing, and on every rally we always try and do our best, and as always this year the Scottish Championship's been so competitive once again. We looked at the entry list the other night, there's probably 12 to 15 guys that can finish in the top 3 tomorrow, and as well as Michael for the co-drivers, we want to try and get as close to finishing second in the drivers' title as well, because there's about 6 of us that can still do that. So we need a good run tomorrow, so we'll not be hanging about.
On top of that, there were 11 drivers who could still take second in the overall standings. 3 stages run twice made up the day, with 3 visits to the Black Isle Showground service area. The weather a mix of sunshine and showers. And leading at the halfway halt, John Wink and Neil Shanks were repeating the form they'd shown on the Grampian. They survived a brief off in 1 and clattered a rock in 2, but stage 3 was where they made their move. Equal fastest in Milbury to grab the SRC lead by 4 seconds. Running first on the road, Jock Armstrong and Owen Patterson were fastest SRC crew through stages 1 and 2, but SS3 was less good, only 8th quickest, and dropping to 4 seconds off the lead, and 2 up on 3rd place. Mark McCulloch and Michael Hendry started their day with a bang.
50, long left 7, keep in, 50, left 3 and short left 6 plus in. Oh no! We're all right? Yeah.
Almost off at the end of SS1, they were still mixing it at the top. Mark quickly adapting to a new rear suspension setup, and they were equal fastest with Wink and Shanks in stage 3, to lie 2 seconds down on the Skodaroo. Already 7 seconds further back, Scott Beattie was teaming up with Emily Easton Page for this round, and they had started steadily but were speeding up rapidly, 3rd quickest in 2 and 4th fastest in 3. "11 seconds back, Stephen Petch and Michael Wilkinson were on too hard a tyre by their reckoning in the morning. Despite that, they were an early 5th and amazed at how fast Milbury was. Stephen saying it felt even quicker than Dalby back home. 6th early on, Bruce McCombie and Paul Beaton had also made a decent start, setting 3 top 10 times. Bruce benefiting from Paul's experience of Fiesta R5s and continuing to learn the new car. 10th fastest in stage 1, stage 2 was a bit of a disaster for Ian Forgan and Chris Lees, the car cutting out for about 20 seconds and they dropped to 14th. 3 was better and the Fiesta was an early 7th. Greg McKnight and Harry Marchbank needed a good finish to take the two-wheel drive titles. They had started well, setting 3 top 15 times to lie 8th, despite having some big 6th gear moments in Millbury. The Mark II crew just 3 seconds up on Scott Peacock and Craig Wallace's Evo. Scott and Craig had caught a car in SS1 and were 12th quickest in Stage 2, despite not enjoying themselves. They also had a big moment in Millbury, flirting with a big ditch within sight of the flying finish. And during a stressful morning, Freddie Milne and Kerr Beaton arrived at the midway service in 10th, but the car wasn't playing ball, randomly switching between 2- and 4-wheel drive mid-stage. That caused a spin and a stall, and did nothing to help Kerr's blood pressure with the championship on the line. David Wilson and Kyle Gordon were just 6 seconds down on the Fiesta after 3. Sampling the BMW in the woods for the first time, they were fastest two-wheel drive in Stage 1, before scrabbling through 2 with some very second-hand rear tyres. Despite being briefly off in 3, they were enjoying an entertaining battle with Robert Proudlock and Stephen Brown. Robert and Stephen were using this round to shake the car down before the final round of the BRC, and so could be forgiven for taking it easy. 10th quickest in Stage 2 showed that they weren't, and they were just 6 seconds down in the BMW after 3 stages. We'd already lost some big names. Fresh from their podium at the Grampian, Hugh Brunton and Terry Mallon set a top 10 time in Stage 1. But sadly this happened in Stage 2.
Long max 5 left, 40. Flat 6 to the left. Oh! You alright? Yeah. Sorry.
And it wasn't a good morning for the Skodas. Willie Patterson and Tom Hines stuck in second gear very early in Stage 1, leaving them with a top speed of 35 miles an hour. They pulled out at the end of the stage.
Aye, great morning, just a wee bit scrappy. So we left loads in there, I would say, a handful of seconds in each stage. The first one, the second last corner, it's like a left 3, but it just nips up on you, and we came in too hot and we went into the ditch. So we then lost momentum for going up the hill over the finish. So probably lost a couple there, and then on the last stage, Scott had just pulled out some rocks from a cut and couldn't avoid it, and big impact on the front, and it's tore a wee bit of the back bumper off, but we survived it because I was just waiting for the steering wheel to go numb on me with a puncture, but it was fine. So
No, I'm okay. I'm pushing on today, and the car's feeling better now, so taking third rally, so I didn't think it would take as long, quite impatient, but because I'm getting older. It's like, I'll miss the times, but no, it's good. Car's right enough. The pace is pretty hot today, to be honest. So
It's been okay so far. We had a bit of a moment, a couple of corners from the end of Stage 1, we were right off the road. Both thought we were going over, so we're lucky just to be here, to be honest. But no, happy enough.
Repeat runs of the same 3 stages would finish the event, and with 12 categories to be decided, there was still a lot to happen. The lady drivers was a straight shootout between Evo 9 pilot Eileen Forrest and Fiesta R2 driver Megan O'Kane. Despite not being a massive fan of the Snowman stages, Eileen and co-driver Paul Gribben were 16 seconds up on Megan and her dad John after 2 stages, as the Fiesta crew battled severe handling issues. Managing the gap for the rest of the day, Eileen kept things safe and quick to make sure of the title, while Megan was on a charge. Eileen eventually taking the ladies' win and the title by just 3 seconds at the finish.
I'm delighted because there's no way I thought that would ever be the case. The way Megan's been driving this last year has just been unbelievable. So
well, you must have been driving okay yourself as well.
Well, some days I think, oh my goodness, what am I doing? But no, I've enjoyed the last stage today. The rest
just
was
the last.
Snowman is always a thorn in my side, to be honest. Not particularly one of my favourites, but I just had a different mindset this morning, so I just thought, right, to get on with it.
Well, it must have helped because it's October and not
Yeah,
March.
well, maybe that is
No
too.
ice.
And As I say, it's taken me 4 years, but I finally clicked with the car, I think.
The Lady Navigator's title was also still to be decided. Rachel Matheson came into this round in the lead from the hot seat of Johnny Mackay's Evo, with Mary Riddick not far behind, alongside Donald Peacock in the historic Mark II. Johnny and Rachel's day ended early, taken out by the same rock that claimed Hugh Brunton. Donald and Mary surviving an overshoot, a cut tyre and an off in stage 4 to take 23rd overall and give Mary maximum points, keeping the title fight alive for the final round.
There you are, folks. This is how you do it if you're a pensioner.
Aye.
Gordon Murray was under strict orders to get a finish and wrap up the Haddo Energy Super Seniors title. Despite some small concerns over the engine after their Grampian retirement, Gordon and co-driver Peter Carstairs did exactly what they needed to do. A clean run to 27th overall and another seniors win, giving them the title with a round to spare. She may have lost out on the lady drivers, but Megan O'Kane was much more successful in the Moats Offshore Juniors. Her consistent and quick season meaning she just needed 6 points to take the driver's title. Despite having to battle her evil handling Fiesta, even on road sections, she took second driver home and made her own bit of history, becoming the first female driver to take the SRC Junior title.
Very neat driving, isn't it?
Aye.
Very neat.
No, today was a bit of a disaster for us, to be honest, but yeah, happy to be at the end. Just the handling issues again, couldn't keep the car in a straight line, even on the main roads. It was just horrendous.
That must have been interesting in Mulbui.
Oh, it was terrifying. The steering wheel was not straight. It was round this way, but yeah, terrifying. I think Dad found it a bit worse than I did, right enough, but it was just like ditch to ditch and bumping through them all. It was horrendous.
Yeah. Was he squealing?
A wee bit. So was I. I had my eyes closed at one bit. Just hope we get round this.
The Junior Navigators title has developed into a two-way battle between Ryan Urquhart alongside Owen McLeod and Michael Moats sitting with Justin Gunning. The two crews spent the day swapping times, with Gunning and Moats just ahead of McLeod and Urquhart after 4 stages. Justin and Michael then suffered a puncture in 5, dropping behind Owen and Ryan. Both crews went for it on the final stage and ended the day 1 second apart, with Owen and Ryan just coming out on top. And that gave Ryan the co-driver's win, but Justin the driver's win in the event. But the Navigator's title is still to be decided on the final round.
Up you come. Come on, boy.
The Albon Garage Challengers title had come down to 3 crews. Paddy Munro and Andrew Stevenson topped the standings in their Mark II Escort, but faced stiff opposition from Johnny Mackay and Rachel Matheson in their Evo, and top Subaru Cup competitors Rob Cotton and Ethan Kidd. SS1 was a disaster for Paddy and Andrew, sliding into a ditch and stuck for over 3 minutes. Eventually recording 71st fastest time, the fight back was then on. Mackay and Matheson made the best start with 13th fastest, but their event was over after clouting that rock in SS2. Paddy and Andrew were also one of 8 crews who could take the G&M Mechanical Services two-wheel drive title if Greg McKnight and Harry Marchbank slipped up. Inside the top 10 early on, Greg and Harry were doing exactly what they needed to do, topping the two-wheel drives going into the final stage. But sadly they were forced out with clutch failure on the final test. Munro and Stevenson's fight back was something special, never outside the top 15 times and charging up the leaderboard to eventually finish 24th overall. 12th Challenger home and 5th two-wheel drive car was their reward for a frustrating day out. Sadly, we would lose Proudlock and Brown, rolling out of the event in the final stage. Thankfully, there wasn't too much damage done, and they made it to the final BRC round, repaying the team by taking a well-deserved British Junior Championship crown. 12th in the SRC, 2nd two-wheel drive and 3rd Challenger home, it was another cracking event for Ross Jarrett and Dave Robson. Keen to do well in his home event, particularly as he was sponsoring a stage, it was a great run, recording a fantastic 9th fastest time on the final test. 14th overall was also a new Jarrett personal best result on the Snowman, Dad Charlie's previous best being 18th.
Impressive.
Rob Cotton and Ethan Kidd needed a good finish to wrap up the Groundwater Lift Trucks Subaru Cup, and were still in with a shout of the Challengers title. It was an excellent day, regularly setting top 20 times and enjoying a fantastic 7-way battle for the Class M6 win. 13th overall and 11th SRC crew home was enough for them to wrap up both the Subaru Cup and M6 titles with a round to spare, after a great first season in the SRC. Second Challenger home also moved them into the Challengers points lead, with 1 round still to go. Wilson and Gordon's good run in the Big Beamer continued, although a puncture in stage 5 was a bit of an annoyance. They were lucky to see the finish, nursing a grumbling gearbox through the final stage to take 10th in the SRC and a double 2-wheel drive and Challengers win. Both the 2-wheel drive and Challengers titles will be decided on the final round.
He didn't drive round the corner, he bounced round the corner.
Peacock and Wallace headed into the second run of Arden Drain, warned by Mark McCulloch and Michael Hendry about a particular corner. An almost identical moment to Mark and Michael, but they survived to take another solid top 10 SRC finish with 9th. Forgan and Lees switched to a different tyre compound for the afternoon, and it was clearly working, setting 2 8th fastest times in SS4 and 5. Unfortunately, the last stage saw a return of the mysterious engine cut in sight of the finish line. 26th quickest over the final stage left them in 8th in the SRC at the finish. Forgan and Leesy's loss was Milne and Beaton's gain. On the climb back up the leaderboard, they snatched 7th over the final test. Now the nervous wait for Kerr to see if he'd done enough to take the 2024 title. That was because Bruce and Paul had finished 1 place ahead of them, wrapping up their good run with 6th fastest time over the final stage. But here was the twist. Unbeknown to Kerr, Paul had contacted the SRC and elected not to claim points. That meant his younger brother had done enough to take his first Scottish title, made even sweeter by clinching it on his home event. Petch and Wilkinson had also made a tyre switch, but then they had to deal with a dodgy intercom in stage 5. 5th SRC at the finish was another solid result for the Fiesta crew, making the long trip north worthwhile. Fourth wasn't enough to keep Michael's title hopes alive, but it was another excellent result for McCulloch and Hendry as they adapted to the new rear suspension setup. It was almost an even better finish, failing to make the podium by just 1 second at the end. That was because Armstrong and Patterson had endured a fraught afternoon. Clouting a rock in stage 5, they amazingly got away with just bodywork damage. But the big time loss, however, was this at the start of SS6. A banzai run for the rest of the stage kept them in third, giving Owen his first ever SRC podium, and showcasing that they were finally getting to grips with the new car.
For some reason I thought I was going round the bale, but I was actually in front of it, so I don't like taking shortcuts. So anyway, but no, Owen performed well today, and he got his eyes opened in a couple of corners after that. That's what I'm kind kind of like, I'm not lifting at all now. It's like one of these, so, and just picked Mark there by 1 second. See, he's come over congratulate me, so that's it. It's made it a bit worthwhile today. So, and then I got a nice little picture from a boy called Caelan there, so that was spot on. He's come up, remembers me from last year, drawing me a picture. So what can I say? I'm overwhelmed. Happy days, I know.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was for the first stage this morning. I think we've performed well and took the season to click, but I would say we're finally there, so it's good.
The afternoon was fantastic for Beattie and Easton Page, second fastest in 4 and equal fastest in 5 and 6, to grab a second podium in a row for the White Fiesta, only 9 seconds away from the top spot. And if things were tense for Kerr Beaton, it was equally tense for the John Wink rallying camp. 5th fastest in 4 was backed up by 3rd quickest in 5, leaving them 9 seconds up on second with 1 stage remaining. And if John was feeling the pressure, it didn't show. Equal fastest over the final stage to finally grab a first ever SRC win for John, and only Neil's second ever maximum score. A very popular win across the whole service park.
Oh, come on, John.
Come on, John. That's a boy.
That's my man.
Yeah, chuffed. It was a good finish. Be second behind John as well. It's not a bad thing. I'm chuffed that he got the win as well. So it's good. A couple of local people in the podium's good. So chuffed.
This morning it was a bit of a wakey. I mean, it's the first time I'd sat with Scott. I was filling in for my other half. So it took the morning to really kind of gel and get used to each other. But by the afternoon, I think we were on the pace and we were clicking well, and we were both just delighted for John. I mean, it's his first win in SRC, and there's nobody more deserving. So we're both delighted for him, and yeah.
Happier man you couldn't have found in Vanessa, I think. Just absolutely delighted. It's been a good day all day. Just sort of tried to find a balance of pushing on, but not too much, and yeah, quite nerve-wracking being in the lead of an SRC event. So hopefully it's not the last, but it's been a long time coming.
It's been a while coming, and it's special to get it here. It's not been the easiest of seasons, and this means a lot. It does to both of us. So yeah, it's special and delighted that we've knocked the monkey off our back. So onwards and upwards for here.
So Wink and Shanks take a fantastic win, and Kerr Beaton wraps up the Navigators title. 1 round remains, the Caledonian Rally in November.